You're live, Your Worship.
All right. Thank you very much, Madam Clerk and Madam Deputy Clerk. Welcome everyone back to the Clearview Township Council meeting. This is a regular council meeting for Monday, November the 10th, 2025. Council did meet briefly at 3:30 for an in-camera session. We have now returned. It's just a little after 3:30, or sorry, a little after 5:30. So we're just getting started here on our regular open session. At this time, I'd like to begin our meeting by recognizing the First Nations, Métis, and Inuit peoples of Canada as traditional stewards and caretakers of the land. We acknowledge that Clearview Township is located within the boundaries of Treaty 18, the traditional lands of the Anishinaabe, Haudenosaunee, Teotihuacan, and the Wendat, and is the home to many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit people as part of an intricate nationhood that reaches across Turtle Island. At this time of truth and reconciliation, we welcome the opportunity to work together towards new understandings and new relationships and ask the Creator for guidance in all that we do. It's a very special time to say this because we're also recognizing Remembrance Day tomorrow. And so we want to acknowledge that our community will be having many Remembrance Day ceremonies tomorrow as well. Council, we're going to move on to our agenda. As I stated, we did have item number 1, which was our closed session, and so that was completed earlier. So I'm going to move to item number 2, which is approval of the agenda. Be it resolved, Council of the Township of Clearview hereby approve the agenda dated November the 10th, 2025 as presented. Mr. Broderick, Mr. Deputy Mayor, thank you. Any questions on the agenda, Council? Seeing none, I'll call the motion. All in favor? Carries unanimous. Thank you. Oh, and I will also acknowledge that Councillor MacArthur is away tonight. He is on, I guess, a little bit of a vacation in the sunny south somewhere, looking after his family down there. So I wish him all the best and hope he returns fine. We will carry on as we do have our quorum. So at this time, I'll look for declarations of pecuniary interest or general nature thereof. Yes, Ms. Deneen.
Thank you, Your Worship. I won't be voting on Report HR 003-2025, recommendation number 1, as I have a family member that affects. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Is there anything else from anybody else on council? All right. I have one as well. I will also not be voting on the HR Report 003-2025. It's the non-union staff compensation and pay equity review. I will not be voting on recommendation number 2, as I have a family member who's part of the department that's noted in this report. So I will abstain at that time, and I will pass the chair of the meeting over to the deputy mayor to conduct that portion of the meeting. Any further? Seeing none? Okay, let's carry on then, council. The next item on our agenda is the public participation period. We do have members of the public in the audience with us here tonight, so I'll read the script here that says, be advised that comments and views expressed under public participation period are not the views of the Township of Clearview, Council, or the administration. Public participation is limited to 15 minutes. Each person is limited to 5 minutes. Questions or comments are to be directed to the mayor, and questions shall not refer to personnel matters, litigation, or potential litigation, or planning matters that have already had a public meeting, or any item considered confidential. Further, for those members of the public not able to attend the meeting in person, written public participation can be provided through the township's web portal. Written comments shall be received prior to noon the Friday before a regularly scheduled council meeting. And as always, please remember to share the time with your fellow citizens. So at this time, we will move to the electronic participation through the portal. And so I would ask the deputy clerk, can you confirm we have received items that qualify for tonight's meeting?
Thank you, Your Worship. Yes, there are 3 qualifying questions or comments from electronic participation, and they've been printed for you tonight.
All right, thank you very much. They've been provided to me printed here on the desk, so I have them here in front of me in no particular order. We'll just start with this one right here. This one says, it is from Mr. Dave Witzka. It says, seeing that taxpayers are spending $481,000 plus HT for a wheeled excavator, item 1, is this in addition to the fleet or replacement for a rarely used grade-all? Item 2, was there a bid process? I ask as nothing was posted on the bids tendered site. And item 3, how many hours are on the equipment that is being replaced? I'm told between 5,000 and 6,000 hours. Is still considered new if properly maintained? And does the township have any qualified persons for this complex piece of equipment? I don't have all of the answers for you on this, Mr. Witzka. So at this time, I would ask if Todd Patton, who's our supervisor over there at Public Works, I believe, Todd, this is your report coming up on the council agenda. Perhaps you could help me with some of these questions. Mr. Patton, welcome to our council meeting. So the first item is this an addition to the fleet or replacement of a rarely used great hall?
Yes, thank you through your worship to Mr. Witzka. This will be a replacement of the current Great Hall.
Thank you. Was there a bid process?
This was done through the canoe procurement process. So we did solicit some requests for quotations. And yes, we have our three prices.
Okay. How many hours are on the equipment that's being replaced?
There is approximately 3,500 hours on the equipment that's being replaced now. The equipment is a 1993 model, so it is 30 plus years old.
Okay, 30-plus-year-old piece of equipment. And does the township have any qualified operators for this complex piece of equipment?
Yes, we do.
Excellent. Thank you very much for those answers. I look forward to seeing it if and when we purchase it, because the recommendation has not come through council until later today. Thank you. Next question, in no particular order. Question from Mr. Dave Witzka. On February 19th, 2025, a fire broke out at the under construction 300 megawatt, 600 megawatt Thurrock BES project in Essex, England, owned by Strata Energy. My question is, how much toxic contamination and smoke will there be? They've stated in the past fires will be self-contained, yet nothing in toxicity from the smoke affecting homeowners or farmers. In the end, who pays if bankruptcy is their end game? Mr. Witzka, I'm not sure what's going on in Essex, England, although I hear it's a beautiful place. I don't have an answer for you in regards to this. We do have a presentation here tonight from BESS. I'll give them an opportunity to answer this if they wish at that time. I'm not going to answer that question on their behalf, and so I would be interested in hearing their comments later on in the meeting. So I'll leave that at that. Thank you. Okay, our final web form submission in public participation council. And it's the final, so here it is. It's also from Mr. Dave Witzka. After finding the canoe procurement site inaccessible to the regular taxpayer, can you give a breakdown for the cost of each accessory for the excavator? Oh, perhaps Mr. Patton could help me out with this, or anyone else on staff. I'm not sure if the CIO knows. The canoe procurement site inaccessible to the regular taxpayer? I have no idea what he's talking about. Is that important? Dan, do you want to take that, Dan?
Thank you, Your Worship. Yeah, so the canoe website is a branch. I'll say a branch of LAS,
Yeah,
which is a branch of AMO, which we are members of as a municipality.
right.
So it is, I'll say, the procurement branch of AMO, Association of Municipalities of Ontario, and all sort of the vetting, the procurement piece is done for municipalities. And obviously then not available for public access. It's through AMO, LAS, for municipalities to use to solicit bids and quotations for different various pieces of equipment, materials, etc.
Right. So for clarity then, Mr. Perot, the canoe procurement site is not part of the Township of Clearview's responsibility. And so therefore, we have no comment about what's on there, whether it's accessible to regular taxpayer or not. It's not our responsibility. We are members of AMO, and LAS is part of AMO. And so the rules and regulations that surround AMO govern the operation there, not the Township of Clearview.
That's correct.
Thank you very much. Is there a breakdown of the cost of each accessory for the excavator? Perhaps that's over to Mr. Patton.
Yes, through your worship to Mr. Witzka, we do have a breakdown. If you'd like me to share it, I can. Part of the total overall price, mulcher head is approximately 53,000. 36-inch excavating bucket, 13,000. 72-inch tilt ditching bucket, approximately 22,000, and a thumb is approximately 25,000.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, gentlemen, for that. Look forward to hearing these discussion items when we get to that on the agenda. All right, so that's it for our public participation electronically. Are there any members of the public that have any questions they'd like to bring forward to our public participation? Come right up to the podium. You see that little microphone right there? Has it got a green light on? Press it.
Okay.
Green. Okay, now I think we can hear you.
Good evening, council. My name is Matt Plain. I live at 102 Edward Street East in Creemore. I want to comment on the new site alteration and movement of fill bylaw that's before council tonight. My comments come from direct experience under the existing bylaw, which this will replace. In May, I applied for a fill permit under the current bylaw to correct a drainage problem caused by municipal works that now sends water into a roadside ditch with no outlet, and it floods my property. The existing bylaw doesn't require engineer drawings or a fill plan for clean fill sourced from a licensed pit in accordance with Ontario Regulation 406-19, yet I was still told to provide both. The new bylaw and guidelines pretend to offer flexibility through discretion, but in practice, staff already have discretion and have chosen to interpret every clause in the strictest, most bureaucratic way possible. If discretion isn't being exercised now, when the process should be simple, there's no reason to believe it will be applied more reasonably under a 100-page framework. In fact, the additional layers of review and procedural checklists make true discretion far less likely, not more. My situation shows exactly why this approach is a problem. Residents trying to fix low-risk drainage problems are getting caught in the same process as large developers. It's expensive, time-consuming, and frankly, unnecessary. The new bylaw goes even further. It makes these engineered requirements permanent, allowing staff to amend, also allowing staff to amend more than 70 pages of guidelines without council approval, and expands NVCA oversight by requiring properties that are merely bordering regulated areas to be included in the review, even if the land itself is unregulated. The guidelines even say that any site alteration or movement of fill that involves the use of township roads requires township approval. That clause isn't tied to the permit thresholds, so even if a project is exempt from needing a permit, it could still require township approval simply because a road is used. Taken literally, that could apply to a contractor bringing a machine to a nearby job site, or even a homeowner buying a shovel and a few bags of topsoil and driving home. It's a perfect example of how this bylaw turns ordinary low-risk activity into regulated work. The direction of this new bylaw runs counter to the province's own priorities. Bill 46, the Protect Ontario by Cutting Red Tape Act 2025, is intended to streamline approvals and reduce unnecessary barriers for residents and small businesses. Yet this bylaw does the opposite. It multiplies steps, increases costs, and expands administrative control instead of simplifying it. Across Ontario, municipalities of similar size manage site alteration effectively with concise bylaws of 10 to 20 pages. Adopting a 100-page framework that makes even small corrective work a regulatory ordeal doesn't reflect the province's goal of cutting red tape or promoting efficiency at the local level. I would respectfully ask council to consider whether this bylaw truly delivers efficient, fair permitting for residents, or whether its open-ended structure effectively transfers decision-making from council to staff and discourages people from even applying.
All right. Thank you very much. You bring up a couple of good points there in regards to the efficiency of the bylaw and the effectiveness of creating, frankly, more red tape. So can I ask you a question?
Yeah, you
What,
bet.
what about, how do you feel about us bringing fill into our community that comes from anywhere else in the province? Like they're literally bringing so much fill into our community that we have to renew our current bylaw because of the requirements of the province about the testing of the types of soils and the content of what's in the soils and the potential for toxicity, et cetera. Plus the absolute volume that they're bringing. brings enormous wear and tear to our municipal roads and our municipal infrastructure. And in all honesty, I've received lots of phone calls about the amount of trucks that we see traversing through our community carrying materials that are not from our community, you know? So how does that make you feel, Matt? Like, you know, we're trying to keep our community as a safe, beautiful place. And this has been counterproductive to that.
There's already regulations in place to control that. So that I was surprised that it isn't being, and I mean, on a large scale and for profit, it makes sense, but given a small project such as myself, and I can't get a permit to fill my own property in, it doesn't make sense. When you hold everybody to the same standard, the bylaw is supposed to allow discretion and
Right.
which, what's the point of having that? As for bringing in fill, like they're not bringing in contaminated fill. Maybe they should be paying the user fees for the roads and stuff. That's on a whole order of magnitude larger than what I'm trying to do, and I'm
Yeah.
not allowed, but they've got the pockets and the money, or sorry, the money in their pocket to pay for all that red tape and approvals anyway, so they're gonna keep doing it. And people like such as myself are just not going to be able to do
Right.
anything.
So I think one of the pieces that's in the new bylaw is it takes a look at the large scale, the medium scale, and the small scale, fills that need to be done. We can do some simple math to calculate how much fill is going to be required to do a project. Then the NVCA, underneath their current regime of regulations, whether that changes in the next few weeks, who knows, because the province is changing that as well. But they have regulations about how stormwater management happens, and that's also to protect our community. So it's a blend of all of these things. The large scale operations, this medium, and then the small, and if I may say, could be considered a small in the next round if this bylaw goes through, is the discretion of the staff as to what, site by site has to be done or not. But there is always going to be a requirement for storm management as how water sheds off of your property, right, as to where it goes and how it's managed when it does leave your property. So
That's what created my
that's
issue.
part of
It's not
site plan
management.
approval for any development. If you're doing an addition on your house, you have to do that. You have to determine where the water coming off the roof is going to go somewhere on your property. So in your case, you've got a piece of land there that's right next to a road that's certainly scheduled to be updated and upgraded. So, you could be a paved road in front of you one day, not very long from now, to be frank. And so as a result, we have to deal with the storm management and water management issues there. So these things are all connected. So I would encourage you to continue to work with our staff to try to come to a resolution and take a look at the new bylaw and see, what qualifications your property may have underneath the small scale fill situation. The other question too about the contaminated, we certainly hope there's no contaminated soils coming in here, but if there are, we need to know. Like that needs to be notified to us through proper engineering standards that we do have contaminated soils and what's happening with them. And, we'd like to simply have a prohibition on doing so, but we'd like to know what they are. And we have to have evidence of that by having it tested. That's the red tape to determine whether it's contaminated or not just a couple of guys standing on the side of the road saying, I think that's contaminated. We have to have evidence of that, right? So we have to have the evidence to say it is contaminated or not. So.
What about the length of our bylaw compared to others? I mean,
Sure. Yeah, our agendas sometimes are very lengthy too, so I get it. We do a lot of reading in this job as a member of council, and I appreciate that. I think that's always best to talk to the staff. You can read through and find the categories that suit you, and then have a consultation with one of the members of staff to see how you can best apply for your permit.
Yeah, I've applied to it. My issue was they didn't respond to me for 6 months. I thought I had a permit.
Yeah, that's disappointing. And from that point of view, I don't mind advising you to please reach out to the CAO, Mr. Ferguson, because it's one of my personal objectives here is to make sure we have good customer service. Okay?
Okay.
Thanks, Matt. I
Thank you.
appreciate hearing from you. Is there anybody else that'd like to have a question or comment for public participation period at this time? All right, seeing none, then council, we're going to move on. Let's see here. We have delegations and presentations at this time. Item number 5. We have James is here from Compass Greenfield. Is that right? There he is. Hey, James. You want to talk to us about the battery energy storage system project that you're proposing for 219 Industrial Road?
Yes, please.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too, your worship,
Welcome.
council, members of staff.
I think the staff are getting there it is. Here's your presentation coming up now. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good evening. My name is James Marzotto, Director of Land Acquisition and Community Engagement at Compass Greenfield Development. This is my second time, or Compass's second time, presenting this year as a delegation for this particular project, for this particular RFP. So I'll mention right off the bat, this presentation is near identical to the presentation I gave earlier in the year, with the addition of slides that update council and staff on our most recent second community engagement meeting on October 28th. So I can go over the whole thing again, or I can focus on that particular.
You know what? Carry on.
Yes.
The members of the public who might want to see this.
Yes,
Probably best if you just carry on and do your presentation.
understood. Will do. Thank you.
Good job. Thank you.
Your worship. So to summarize what I'll be speaking about tonight, I'll go over summary, the context as to who we are, why the Ministry of Energy is asking for energy capacity in this upcoming procurement, why we've chosen your municipality, the regular oversight we oversee or follow in any energy storage development, and focusing on the project location, our previous or our current project currently under operation as a case study, as I mentioned, the project update, and then our ultimate request at the current time from council, a municipal support resolution signed by council that would support the project that needs to be included in our bid for LT2 due December 18th of this year. So we can go to the next slide. So to summarize, we have land access currently at 219 Industrial Road at within Stainer to develop a 18 megawatt or space to develop an 18 megawatt lithium ion phosphate battery energy storage system. I'll refer to it as a BESS. And this BESS is proposed in response to the Ministry of Energy via the IESO's planned long-term to window 1 energy capacity RFP. Go to the next slide. At Compass Greenfield Development, we've been in business the last 12 years, first starting as Compass Renewable Energy Consulting, Inc. as a consultant in the energy development space within Ontario since 2009, and have been developing our own projects, developing and owning our own projects in the last 7 years or so. To mention, as well as other energy projects, specifically BESS projects, lithium ion phosphate, we currently have 3 projects totaling 15 megawatts currently under operation within the city of Windsor, the front of the meter battery projects. We have another plus 30 megawatts nearing commissioning within collectively North Glengarry, Ontario, as well as Mississippi Mills, Ontario. We're working through the commissioning process with Hydro One right now. Keep going. This is a map of our current projects, as I mentioned, in development and in operation within Canada. I should mention too, Compass is a Canadian owned and operated company based in Toronto. This is the timeline that we're working towards on this slide. As I mentioned, our bids are due December 18th. It does take a few weeks to finalize the bids, so aiming to, if we are successful in that vote, to obtain our support resolution, say by the end of December. The project, we would know if we win the project of June of next year, and aiming for commissioning between 2028 to 2029 is the target commissioning date. Keep moving. So why we chose your municipality, starting from the base, Stainer Transformer Station has capacity to both take on renewed energy generation as well as providing to new load customers. So the battery does charge at night during off-peak hours. The 44 kilovolt lines and the station Stainer TS off of Industrial Road is able to take on that capacity and load as well. The lot 219 industrial is zoned for industrial, so that brought us as well, just the zoning in general. We understand as well through the county of Simcoe and specifically county of Simcoe in this case, that alternative energy supply is supported in their plans. So mentioned, or I will mention again, community benefits. We're reinforcing the energy grid. I didn't mention in the executive summary, though this isn't a nice to have, this is a need. The ISO has projected a 75% increase need of energy capacity from between now and 2050. So this is contributing to that need. It'll be short-term job creation, to be frank. Work with a general contractor local to Ontario at the very least, and would encourage that local contractor to look to local trade subcontractors at the very least for civil work. Any low voltage or high voltage professionals in the area that can work towards it, certainly have focus on them too that they can bring on. We would offer $1,000 a megawatt community benefit agreement. So if we were to achieve 18 megawatts, be an annual payment of $18,000 to the municipality, and then any applicable increase to the tax base. And we should also mention too that anything permitting wise, any extra cost that your staff would incur as to working towards the permit of this project, CGD, Compass Greenfield Development, would cover that cost. Go to the next slide. Why battery storage? I mentioned the word capacity. Capacity in Ontario was traditionally, for the most part, I can say, covered by natural gas peaker plants. To hit that load requirement that Ontario faces, say, classic example, high noon during July when air conditioners are on full blast, when factories are starting up in the morning. These projects meet that need by deploying energy quickly to the grid when the province needs it the most. So that's the why. And also further parallel, natural gas and batteries, obviously different energy sources. Lithium ion phosphate can be deployed arguably more quickly and distributed more. So the project that we're proposing is relatively small to peaker gas plants you'll see elsewhere in the province. It'll have a footprint of a maximum footprint at 18 megawatts at 1.75 acres. We can go to the next slide, please. So this slide covers our regulatory or our commitment to hitting all of the boxes needed and going above and beyond as much as we can anyway, with regards to satisfying regulatory requirements as well. This kind of speaks to the safety that backs up these projects and the operational requirements. This project is overseen by the IESO, Hydro One, Electrical Safety Authority on the electrical side, as well as the Ministry of Energy. And we'd work with staff and the NVCA as required for local permitting requirements. This picture is a picture that was taken with Antler Group, who may have met Logan Barrett, our emergency response consultant. He's doing a site walkthrough here in this photo with the City of Windsor's fire department on our Walker Best 456 site. And so, as we've spoken about before, and I'll speak to again, CGD via our contractors is committed to working with Clearview Fire and Rescue on committing to emergency response plan, paying for and overseeing training, and as well as having Clearview Fire Department involved in the planning and design process, as well as I said, the training too. Go to the next slide. This is the project site. So in the satellite imagery, the red polygon represents the property, 219 industrial. Blue represents 1.75 acres, the premises of where we intend to have the project to go at the current time. And the map on the right depicts its zoning, which is general industrial. And our understanding, looking at the zoning and what the zoning allows, this is in line with, though it doesn't specifically say battery energy storage, the other industrial applications are, in our opinion, are similar or akin to this application. Go to the next slide. So as I mentioned before, this is a case study of our project currently in operation in Windsor. Uses the Tesla Megapack, which I'll mention was procured a few years ago, more than say 2 or 3 years ago. I'll leave it at that. The general contractor is Black and McDonald, so reputable contractor. I'm sure we've all seen the green and black trucks that have been building the projects. Enwin Utilities of Windsor, similar to Hydro One, a local distributor of energy, oversaw the interconnection, and it's located on North Service Road in an industrial setting similar to 219 Industrial, just north of the airport. And this was, I mentioned, we're working towards LT2, long-term 2 procurement. This project was one in the expedited long-term 1 procurement held in 2022, 2023. Go to the next slide. This is the slide new to what I presented in a previous presentation to council. So on our September 25th community meeting, total of 3 members, including 2 members of council, attended. October 28th, approximately less than 20 members of the community attended our open house that was held within Stayner, within arguably walking distance of the project site, St. Patrick's Parish Hall. And just to mention, we were able to get those numbers up we had ads on the radio that you may have heard on 97.7. The last time I checked, just over 10,000 impressions. And we also ran ads in the Creemore Echo within 3 weeks at the very least of this community, letting readers know about this project, community open house, as well as having a public website, staynerenergystorage.ca. As of last Friday, meeting minutes, so our record of minutes and also answering of questions that we weren't able to immediately answer that night have been posted for everyone publicly. You can go to the next slide. So I mentioned the timeline before. I'll mention it again. We were requesting a support resolution tonight on a prescribed form that I had submitted to staff earlier in the year. The submission December 18th, and we aim to be, you will know if we win a contract. The ISO gives us the date of June 16th, 2026. We can go to the next slide. That concludes the delegation for this evening. Happy to answer any questions to the best of my ability. Again, I don't have certain subject matter experts with me today, but I can certainly answer, take note.
All right. Thank you, James. That's a good review, and glad you had the second meeting and you had some participants from the community come out. That was excellent. I think Councillor Walker, you were there as well. Thank you for being there. Paul, you were there too, right? Deputy Mayor, exactly. John, you were there? Okay. I was not there because I attended the first one, but thank you very much.
Thank you.
Can I just get started? We'll get some questions from our members here if they have any, but I'd like to just address the public participation question that came forward. Essex, England. Do you know anything about this?
I do not, Your Worship, no.
Okay. I've never been there either, so I decided to ask if you knew anything about this project and, you know, this claim of toxic activity. I don't understand that. So, but I do believe in your last presentation, when you had your associate here with you from Antler, They did talk about firefighter training and
Yes.
emergency response to any type of fires. And in our conversations, when I met with you at the public engagement session, you shared that the spacing of these units is such that any unfortunate fires are not going to spread because they're spaced apart. Could you just outline that a little bit again, just so we understand?
Yes, I can answer it generally.
Yes,
without
generally, that's fine.
referencing, specific standards. But generally, as you'll see in the example I gave you, for example, the project in Windsor, they're spaced out so that if one container is set ablaze or it experiences an unlikely event, it'll just be that container.
Right.
And then that container essentially burns out.
Right.
And again, generally speaking, the general SOP that is industry prevalent now is a defensive fire, as I know, just working with Logan, where essentially you're cooling the area so that the fire doesn't spread to other containers.
All right. All right. Well, thank you for addressing that for me. I appreciate that. Members of council, I'll leave the floor open. Does anybody got any questions? James? Yes, Mr. Walker, please.
Thank you. Thanks again for your presentation tonight, and thank you for having the second public meeting. Again, I'm kind of stuck on the safety aspect and the fire end of it. You talk about the training. Have you, in your knowledge, company supported any financial assistance for equipment that the fire department might need over and above what they have to possibly deal with the situation that might arise from the energy storage?
Oh yeah, short answer, I can answer that. Short answer, and then expand on it. Through consultation. So short answer, yes, we would commit to any financial need to enhance the current department's current set of equipment to get to a standard where your fire chief is satisfied that they haven't, should an unlikely event occur, that their department can respond. So we do commit to that. And then to get there, upon contract award, mentioned the project timeline, there's about a year or so of permitting work required. And within that permitting work, procurement as well. So whether it's with, say, a local energy supplier or I'll just use Tesla as an example, just because that's what we've procured in the past. Through that procurement, we're keeping your fire department in the know that, this is what we're thinking, and this would working with the suppliers, representatives, sales reps, because they have those plans as well. They know how to respond to their own equipment. We'd be keeping your department in the loop and making suggestions on what they need. And if everyone's in agreement, then we commit to whether it's that training or that equipment.
Okay.
Yeah. There's a year of, coordinating and letting, I'll say this, there's a year of coordinating between CGD, likely prospective suppliers, and your fire department on what we're planning, what we're intending to build.
Mr. Walker?
One further, your worship. Benefit to the municipality is what, $1,000 a month? That's what you have in your report?
No,
Or is there room for flexibility on that? And I mean upward flexibility, not downward.
I can take anything back, certainly to my powers that be, for sure. It is our opening offer of the community benefit agreement is $1,000 a megawatt. If so that, and sorry, to better answer your question, that's $1,000 a megawatt per year. So it'd be, our offer is $18,000 a year.
Yes.
In year one. That's not including whatever the increased tax base would be, and we can work with MPAC to better confirm what it is. But yeah, I can certainly take that back.
Okay,
Councilor Walker.
Thank you. Just because that land, when we set it up, was industrial land for employment, and we aren't going to get any employment out of the best system, if it goes forward, we will not be getting any employment as a result after it's built. So we're losing that employment for residents. So I'm feeling that there should be a little bit of different compensation with regards to that type of business that's going to be there, not producing employment, so that there's a little better benefit as a result to the taxpayers of Clearview.
Point taken.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you, Councillor Walker. I see Councillor Janine. You have questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'm getting a phone call from Lake Zurich somewhere in California here on my phone. It just threw me for a minute. What other municipalities are you located in other than Windsor, like a city?
So yes, Windsor, and then the projects that are currently under construction, so they've been contracted by the ISO. And actually in the first slide that I presented, that was our project in North Glengarry. It's mechanically complete and we're just working through the commissioning checklist. So for energy storage, Windsor, North Glengarry, Ontario, and Mississippi Mills
Mississippi.
is where we currently have contracts. At the very least, have been permitted. Yes.
And is there any distance requirements between a facility like this affecting the rest of the development area? Are there necessary requirements that the lands have to have setbacks from this, or you're fully contained? There's no residual power anywhere that's going to come out of the batteries? They're like a car battery that is just stable?
I'd want to get back to you on my full answer on that. What I can tell you, for noise, there is I'll mention noise and then I can give a written answer on certain other setback requirements. But for noise, we have to meet a certain dBA and that can be mitigated through certain, decibel levels, and that can be mitigated through certain sound dampening measures. But I don't have the exact numbers off my head, but I'd be happy to get that information to you.
Thank you. I kind of remembered something about that from the first presentation. You
Yeah.
had someone else with you at that point. Yeah, I believe a few members of the council here, the Mississippi Mills, I believe we spoke with, or we sat through a presentation by one of those, by the mayor of that municipality on your best there.
Okay.
So, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, members of council. Mr. Beelan? Yes, Councillor Beelan.
Thank you, Your Worship. I know this project is a lot smaller than the one that was proposed for Brentwood. And I do appreciate how honest and open you are about answering questions. One of the complaints about the one in Brentwood, we didn't seem to get answers, and some of the answers weren't complete and things like that. So I thought your presentations were really good. They were also going to use farmland in Brentwood, which was also a no-no. Theirs was, I believe, about 5 times bigger than yours. My question to you is about how many more additional hours of training will our fire department have to go through? And maybe our fire chief can answer this. Is it going to put the firemen at a point where they go, I don't think I want to be a fireman anymore? It's just too much training. Like maybe how much additional training compared to what they take now?
Sorry to say this again, but I'd want to get back to you on the exact timing. I can tell you though, it was certainly less than a week of in-class training and walkthrough.
So less than 40 hours, say 30 hours?
I'd want to confirm.
And how much would that be compared to what they take now, Mr. Fire Chief Scott?
Take the chair there, Chief. Thank you.
Through your worship. To Councillor Beelan, the training that's required, we'll have to work together with Compass Greenfield. I don't see it being overly substantial. The main part is a site walkthrough. We all know it's a defensive fire. We're not going in to fix these units. We're going to stay outside and cool down the affected units. But I don't see this becoming a large issue for our staff.
Thank you very much. And then my last question would be about, you say you'd try and figure out the plume that would happen if there was a fire. you'd still have to evacuate quite a bit of Stainer, would you not?
I don't have that answer right
Okay.
away. Yeah, in terms of
Are
evacuation.
these batteries different than what they were proposing in Brentwood then?
I don't know.
Yeah, you don't see that
certain-
presentation.
Yeah, so for example, I've mentioned the Tesla Mega Pack a few times just because that's what we currently have commissioned. I can tell you certain suppliers will have certain brands of batteries, despite all being lithium phosphate, will have different chemical composures in terms of the plume, the fire. So
You can't answer that right now.
Can't answer that
So
right
it looks like you're gonna have approximately 18 cells or containers at this site?
I'd want to confirm, again, it does go back to, so a few things. Short answer, yes, around that,
Okay.
in terms of steel containers. If you go back to the Walker Best photo that I had, that was the one in Windsor, that's 0.75 acres. So you can essentially double that photo imagery, and that'll give you an idea of the look and feel.
Okay,
Another reason why I'm somewhat general right now, vague with the answer is within 3 years, the technology is improving, becoming more efficient, can become smaller. So there might even be less.
so there is another BESS operation going to be happening at the glass plant in Collingwood.
Okay.
So would that fire department have training there? Could they also cross work or whatever? I guess that would happen, right?
Could,
It would be the Collingwood
this is the
Fire
first
Department,
time
I
I've
think.
heard of that project, so I guess
Okay.
maybe it's a behind the meter project for peak shaving, I'm assuming, if it's at a glass plant. But I'd want to,
Okay,
I'd have to learn, if we won the contract and we're
yeah, I think
going
it's a
towards
different
permitting,
company.
certainly
Yeah.
have to talk.
Okay, thanks.
I think that's a fair question because the project may not be your company that's in the middle of this application in Collingwood, which is, we're talking about the Clearview project, but if there was something nearby, you'd be working with nearby fire departments to consistent training, right? As part of how they train to fight this.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, makes sense.
And then maybe just a quick comment.
Sure.
This is an 18 megawatt project in a 600 megawatt procurement pool.
Yeah.
So, and there were another, over 1,000 megawatts awarded in the first procurement, as I mentioned. So fire departments all over Ontario are quickly learning.
Yeah.
The subject matter expertise are growing by,
Yeah.
by the month.
It would
as
be
these
brand new
projects-
training for our crews,
Certainly.
but across the province, there's crews that have been well trained in this and dealt with it already. So thank you. Good. Did I see a card? Yes, Mr. Broderick.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'm just wondering how much of an asset would an aerial truck be to containment of a fire to a specific cell?
So an aerial, like an aerial fire truck?
Mhm.
And sorry, can you?
Maybe it's a question I should be applying or asking the chief, but
Yeah, Chief, can you be able to answer that question? I mean, from your research on this project?
Through your worship, in my opinion, that is the only way to fight these fires efficiently. There's been talks of using ground monitors, which if you've ever used one, they're not accurate. You're causing more runoff than what's necessary. And an aerial apparatus, puts more distance between you and the fire. So that is something that needs to be discussed in the future here.
thank you.
Good question, Councilor Broderick. Thank you very much. I'll look around the council table. Does anybody else have any questions for James? All right. James, thank you very much for your presentation. Please don't go away. I have something here in front of us that has been provided to me by or our very capable clerk. Council, I have a resolution in front of me, and I can read it. If you want to entertain it, we'll then ask for a mover and seconder. Be it resolved, the Council of the Township of Clearview hereby direct the Director of Planning and Building to provide a report at the November 24, 2025 council meeting, giving council an option to provide a municipal council support resolution to Compass Greenfield Development for their battery energy storage system located at 219 Industrial Road, Stainer, now in the Township of Clearview. Would you like to move that? Thank you. Councilor Broderick is calling for a mover. Is there a seconder? Mr. Walker, thank you. All right. So, council, there's a motion here. You want to discuss the motion at any time, or I know you haven't seen this. If you want, I can read it again, or yes, go ahead, Paul.
I just want to confirm, because this is a letter of support. Is this similar to the one we did the previous year for the same project, or are we rewriting this?
The letter of support, James, maybe you can
Yeah.
help me out. There's several stages to get the license from the ISO.
Yes.
You're looking for a letter of support indicating that the municipality host is comfortable with the parameters of your application on this property. That's basically what you're looking for. And then
Yeah.
after you then apply, if you find out if you get the successful license, you'll then be coming back for any type of zoning or site plan development type work after the stage. Is that how you interpret that?
Short answer, yes. Yeah.
Yes.
And I can expand it just, there was a question of different, the prescribed form for this year,
Yes.
it is specific to long-term to procurement and not the previous procurement. So it is a different.
It's a whole new intake,
Yes,
basically.
yeah,
Yes.
yes,
Does
yes.
that make sense, Paul?
Yep, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Derek, would you like to comment on this too?
Thank you, Worship. No real comment to make. I've been working with the clerk on this, but staff are happy to prepare a recommendation report or an options report for council's consideration for this.
All right, look forward to seeing that if this passes. Anybody else on council have any questions to the recommendation? Do you want me to reread it so we clear again? Or are we comfortable? We're good? Thank you. Council, I've read the resolution. I have a mover and seconder. I am prepared to call the motion. Those in favor? That passes unanimous. Thank you very much. James, I can let you go for tonight and tell you that we'll see you on the 24th. Is that okay?
Yes, we'll be there.
All right.
Thank you, Your Worship.
Thank you
Yeah,
very much for
yeah,
being here tonight.
For sure, be there, yeah.
Okay,
Oh, yeah, no. Yeah. Thank you very much.
thank you.
Yeah,
there'll be more still.
There always is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you could just press that microphone as you leave to make it red. Thank you, sir. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Clerk, for preparing this. I appreciate that. All right, council, we're going to move on in our agenda to, where are we? There are no public meetings per se that are part of this meeting. So now we're moving to our approval of our council meeting minutes recommendation. We have two meeting minutes to receive. Be it resolved that council of the Township of Clearview hereby approve the minutes of the October 20, 2025 and October 29, 2025 council meetings as presented. And I'll look for a mover and seconder on that. Mr. Walker, Mr. Beelan, thank you very much. And just to highlight again, the 29th meeting was the special planning public meeting. All right. Any questions? Any amendments? Everything's fine with the minutes? I'll call the motion. All in favor? That carries unanimous. Thank you very much, council. Now we're going to move to our, where are we at? Item correspondence for information. We do have a closed session report. I have a recommendation that came out of our closed session. We did have two items for discussion. The first item did not have any items to arise in open session. However, the second one does. This one has to do with Wilcox Place lease agreements. Recommendation, be it resolved, Council of the Township of Clearview hereby directs staff to act in accordance with the direction provided in closed session regarding Wilcox Place lease agreements. Can I get that moved by Mr. Broderick? You're always quick with the trigger. And Councillor Deneen, thank you very much. Any questions on the recommended motion? Nope, seeing none. All those in favor? That also carries unanimous. Thank you very much. Okay, now we're going to move to our many items tonight we have in our correspondence section. We have quite a few. Certainly, Council, you must be aware of the recycling transition program, the changes that are coming to businesses, institutions, the IC&I discussions that our county council has had in regard to what will be impacted. It's frankly sad news for organizations like religious organizations or food bank or nonprofits. Any of these will not be having any recycling programs available to them at this time, which is kind of frustrating. Second one is there's a new pickleball court coming to Georgian Village. I can't wait to see the Georgian Village Pickleball League Championship. I'm sure it'll be a lot of fun. NVCA October board highlights is on here, and we do have a letter of support from Grey Highlands Council supporting our Arctic Over the Horizon position on the receive site activities from DND. Appreciate that from the Council of Grey Highlands. The county also has the hosting of the 2025 Manufacturers Forum, building tomorrow today. That's always a good one. Economic development very much involved with that. Item 8.7, the CG Metch Foundation letter, Clearview's donation to hospital campaign. I would draw to your attention, Council, you should review that. That is coming. This community, as we were chatting earlier just before the meeting, for many years has been contributing towards a fund that we still hold in our possession, but we have a fund that is for the help us cover the local ask when it comes to the funding of the new hospital here in our community. And so this is a letter from the foundation just confirming that relationship that's continuing to grow. The NVCA media release regarding the province of Ontario announces new Conservation Authority agency. This was a bit of a surprise at a left field sort of lob that was sent to us. Our representative on the NVCA, Deputy Mayor Paul Van Stavern, we want to say something about this.
So we've, excuse me, we've talked about this already. The province decided unilaterally they're going to go down from 34 individual conservation authorities down to 7. And it's a little disheartening in that we don't really know yet what's going to happen, how they're going to realign it according to watersheds, according to geographical areas, sizes, or anything like that. We feel at NVCA that we've got our house in order. We've done a great job cleaning things up, and we've been moving ahead financially in a solid way. We can't speak on behalf of other conservation authorities, but we've been solid this last year. We had a good turnaround. It's very disheartening. Our manager or chairman, Jonathan Scott out of Bradford, West Gwillimbury, has spoken on the news about it, and it's been a blindside to us as much as anybody else. Now, the province is looking for input on this new agency, on what it should look like and who belongs to what. So feel free to go on the website and you'll see the asks from the province to contribute. It's going to be very challenging, and one of the big problems they had, the argument was the duplication of services. Now going forward, because they haven't even announced how they're going to do it, so you get a sort of municipality like Town of Blue Mountains, where they're dealing with Saugeen Shores, they're dealing with NVCA. Or Medonte, for example, is using LSRC, Lake Simcoe Regional Conservation Authority, as well as NVCA, as well as Saugeen or Severn Sound Conservation Authority. So they're trying to get away from that, but how it's going to play out, we do not know yet. And the province is looking for input. So we'll wait and hear what happens, but we're not really impressed so far. Let's put it that way.
All right. Appreciate you keeping us up to date on that. It's always interesting reading this one in the news, that's for sure. Good luck with that. Moving on, 8.9, the county also, an advisory regarding the advancements of the Housing Solutions for Community Planning Permit System Stakeholder Engagement Session. I'm glad that we're continuing down that path at the county, and hopefully that'll continue to provide some solutions for housing. 8.10 is the county statement regarding the request for vital economic and regional considerations to be included in the annexation of lands. This report, I'm glad it's on our agenda. It is part of our county's discussions and a decision that was made by County Council regarding the annexation of lands by the city of Barrie and Oromadani and Springwater Township. There is some MZOs that the County of Simcoe are looking to have activated to protect economic and regional considerations, it's particularly in relation to the Lake Simcoe Regional Airport, which is an economic engine for the region, and we want to make sure that that is protected. So that's a good point. And the last item is item 8.11, is the county announces the initial phase of warming center locations across the region. Good time to get ready for it with all the snow coming and, you know, the inevitability of highway closures here in our community. Councillor Walker knows all about it in the years you've lived here. How many times has Highway 26 been closed, right? So the warming center locations, certainly we do participate in this under the direction of our Fire Chief, who's our Community Emergency Management Coordinator, and I know he works on a committee to help keep this, you know, in the highlights of our minds when it comes to planning for warming centers. So it's important. All right. Is there any questions on any of those items from any other members? No? Thank you. It's just a good information for you to review, members. Okay, we're going to go straight to our ward reports. And at this time, I'm going to go to Councillor Broderick to kick us off with ward reports, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. October 21st, attended the Clearview Chamber of Commerce regular members meeting. On the 24th, partook in the Clearview Chamber of Commerce Witches Walk Reimagined. On the 25th, partook in Central Ontario ATV Club's night ride through COA TV maintained trails in the Simcoe County forest tracts of beautiful Clearview Township. And on the 28th, attended the Creemore BIA meeting. Also on the 28th, attended the BESS information session at St. Patrick's Parish Hall in Stayner. On the the 31st, attended the community grant check presentations. And on November 4th, attended the council closed session. And that's it for me.
All right. Thank you so much. Appreciate you attending those events. Deputy Mayor, would you like to go next?
Thank you, Your Worship. 28th, we did, as was mentioned tonight, we were at the best program at St. Pat's. The 30th, my wife and I attended the OFA AGM in Baxter and got to speak on behalf of activities representing this community as well as the community of Simcoe County. The 31st, we had the community assistance grant, and it was so nice to see our entire council there. So to hand out some of the grant funds. November 1st, we had the opportunity to go to the new hub in Duntroon, the ribbon cutting for that. It's a new, Phyllis was there, the mayor was there. What would we call it? A sort of a business. It's an engagement, women's engagement, women in business. And so it's an independent operation. So it's really neat to see. I drove by last night there and the lights were on at night and they were in there working. So
There was a lot of cars.
there were a lot of cars there. So it's obviously something of demand. On November 4th, we did, the mayor and I attended a special meeting in regards to the annexation of Barrie, and we think we've come to an agreement, a settlement, we'll call it, as best we can. And we're dependent on Springwater and Ormodonte to achieve the same. So we're working together with them. Today, just for discussions, we may seem a little tired. We've been at county council since 8 o'clock, or since, well, I was there since just after 8, but 9 o'clock this morning, we went in and we got our budget approved for this year. So we've approved a budget, combined operating capital budget of 3.5%. It was quite a stressful day for the mayor and myself, but we got it through. And I don't know if you want to speak to anything about that, Your Worship.
Other than to say the budget process was quite involved this time. I mean, I've been involved with them for a few years now, and it was a very good discussion, very open conversation between all sort of members of the county house, because it's a, you know, I think the members of the house and members of this council also recognize that it's a stressful time, and budgets are very, very difficult. And it's difficult because inflation continues to go up. The great unknowns of the our Southern American border, you know, causes us a little bit of heartburn for sure. Businesses in our area are, you know, throttling back a little bit because of the tariff situation. There's an awful lot of stress when it comes to budgets, and so I must say I thought we did very, very good to get it to 3.5 while still being able to maintain services. So this of course, if I can, Paul, is also part of our budget here at Clearview, because you know, for round numbers, about 50 cents of every dollar that we collect here goes to other services like the County of Simcoe and the school boards. So when we collect $1, this municipality only uses about 49.7%, cents of that dollar. So this is helpful in the fact that it's not going to creep into that dollar even more, because it's going to be about where it was. But we need to just sort of focus on our work here coming in the next couple of weeks. So thank you for giving me that. Go right ahead.
I think, and what the mayor hit on, we want to make sure that we don't reduce our services. And Simcoe County is our provider for a lot of our social services, our human services, whether it be our homelessness or our seniors affordable housing and stuff like that. And in times like this, it's very, very difficult. And I got to say, there was a few members who were very challenging for us to not to try and get it lower. But we have to maintain our service level. And I mean, it's a big budget for the county, but it's one of those things we have to look forward to the future and try and recognize the situation we have today and the situation we could have tomorrow. So I think we did okay on it.
Yeah. A little beat up, but we got there,
yeah.
didn't we? Thank you. All right. Thank you, Paul. Is it nothing further?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
All right. That's great. I'm going to move over to Councillor Deneen.
Thank you, Your Worship. October 25th, I had the opportunity to go to Hamilton. I drove to Hamilton for the provincials for the Stainer-Hitman lacrosse teams. And it was amazing to see those kids. They really did us proud. They did great, and they represented us in fine order. They really did. And you talked about Ashley Leahy's the ribbon cutting at the hub. I will read to you. It says, CAO and founder of Girl Time Inc. and our newest location, the hub. So it's Girl Time Inc. is what it was. And this is a bricks and mortar place for the women to gather. And she's made it really, really inviting for them there. November 6th, Songwriters That Rock, the final Small Halls event. We had over 140 people in the Nottawa Hall, and it was the father-daughter duo night, and it was a wonderful time. It was a great event, and everybody seemed to enjoy themselves really nicely. Tomorrow, I have the honor of laying the wreath in Collingwood on behalf of the township, and I really appreciate that, and that's my report. Thanks.
Thank you so much. I'll speak about more of this in a minute, but thank you for doing that. Councillor Beelan.
Thank you, Your Worship. October 28th, I was at the OPP Detachment Board meeting, and our own Emma Coldman is now one of the clerks there at that meeting. October 29th, I attended the planning public meeting, the workshop one, and I thought it was a great format. I think it worked out well. I think we have to use that format more. October 31st, Halloween, I was at the Community Assistant Grant check presentations, and it was really nice to hear from some of the groups, their updates on how they're doing. So I'm glad I went to that. November 4th, I was at the special council meeting, and on November 5th, I did not attend a meeting. There was supposed to be a Climate Action Advisory Committee meeting, but we did not have quorum, so I did not attend. And tomorrow, November 11th, I will be in New Lowell at the Legion, and I get to present 2 wreaths, one for the township and a wreath for the Dutch community in New Lowell. Thank you.
Thank you for doing that. That's excellent. Thank you. Councillor Walker.
Thank you, Your Worship. On October the 21st, we had a library board meeting. On October the 25th, Small Halls, part of the Accessibility Committee. We were part of the amazing race at Sunnydale Corners, where the Accessibility Committee had a bit of an obstacle course set up with wheelchair and reading of Braille. Was part of that process, and a lot of great comments from the participants on that whole session there. They really appreciated that opportunity. Also on the 25th, I then went to the Clearview Community Theater show, SpongeBob, and I just, again, to the Clearview Community Theater, what a great job, an excellent show, and thank you once again for being in our community. On the 28th, attended the battery storage session at St. Pat's. On the 29th, we had the zoning public workshop. 31st, check presentations. November the 4th, a closed session meeting. And then on the 5th, I also had a one-on-one meeting with our fire chief with regards to battery storage and his concerns, if any, with regards to that. And that's it, Your Worship. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And thank you for reminding me about the Amazing Race Clearview, because that also was mentioned to me when I went to the Nottawa Hall during the intermission. I was chatting with a couple that had participated in it, and they said it was just terrific. So we were chatting about small halls and how the event at Nottawa was the final event for this season's small hall series, and that they commented how the small hall, or the Amazing Race Clearview, was a big success. They really enjoyed it. So congratulations to Robert MacArthur and his whole team that helped put that one on. I hope that they can continue to do that perhaps in future small halls. So good for them. Really great. I do want to mention, of course, it was a very successful small hall festival, I believe, with venues right across the township being involved, and volunteers everywhere. Those red shirts were certainly seen everywhere. It was kind of encouraging on the morning of the last day, which was just here last week on the Thursday. I happened to go through the Tim Hortons drive-through, which is of course in that trailer right now, and the girl at the window, she was wearing her small halls T-shirt. I thought that was great. It was the last day of the event, and here she is. It was just really nice to see that. And I want to acknowledge all of the sponsors that have helped sponsor small halls over the years. There's many great corporate businesses that are corporate citizens that help bring the Small Hall Festival to life with their financial support and their contributions in kind. So there's so many. Please go to the Small Hall Festivals, the smallhallsfestival.ca website, and you can learn all about the sponsors that have brought us the festival, including Tim Hortons, of course, who's been there since I believe the very first year we did it. So I must say it was just great. And the event in Nottawa Hall, it was terrific. It was wonderful music. It was all original music. The father-daughter duos demonstrated that the old apple doesn't fall too far from the tree, because they were absolutely stellar. You mentioned, Robert, the SpongeBob SquarePants thing. So Amelia, who is the daughter of Jason Redman, she was cast in that show, and sitting in the front row at that show was Gren Bray, who was the director of that. But he got to hear her original music rather than performing the material that was for. So I had a nice chat with him about it too. So it was just a great event. I can't tell you how wonderful it was to go. The community came out. They were enjoying themselves, really supporting what we were doing. The Kinsman Club were there to keep the bar moving, and there was even pie available. What can I say? Pie. So it was great. Well done, Councillor Deneen. You worked many hours to bring that forward, and I appreciate your help and support, to keep the Nottawa Hall functioning. And I must say, people of Nottawa should know they should come out and support that hall. They need your support, because it's a great facility in events like that. So that's all I got to say about that. I look forward to next year's event. I do want to speak briefly about Remembrance Day. Councillor Broderick, you started speaking to that, and I just want to mention that it does happen that our municipality is blessed to have 3 legions that are all very active legions in our communities. We also are blessed to have 4 cenotaphs in our community, and we also have a building that's actually dedicated to remembrance as well. That building is the Nottawa Memorial Community Center. And I took a moment when I was at the hall just to remind everybody, when I was at the microphone, that the hall in Nottawa was built in 1949 by the Victory Club, which is a group of mothers and women who were fundraising, knowing that the men will be coming back from the war, and they wanted to have this facility built in time. As it turns out, the hall was open in 1949, but it was because of the Second World War as to why that hall exists. And it acknowledges 3 men from the community of Nottawa who did pay the ultimate sacrifice. So it's kind of unique, isn't it, as a township, that we're a small municipality with 4 cenotaphs. And so it's nice that our council can spread out across the township and be able to participate in all of the cenotaphs, including right into our neighboring community of Collingwood, because the Collingwood cenotaph has 105 names on there for the First World War, and 28 of them are people who are from Nottawa and Nottawasaga Township. So it's very significant that we do that and continue to support that group. So thank you, Councillor Deneen. I will be in Creemore tomorrow for the first time. I will be able to participate in the Creemore Cenotaph ceremony with the Legion in Creemore. So I'm looking forward to that for the first time. And I know that Councillor Walker, you'll be here in Stainer. Councillor Beelan will be in New Lowell. Councillor Deneen will be in Collingwood. Councillor Broderick will be joining them in Singhampton. And I appreciate you going to Singhampton because it's a beautiful little cenotaph. So have a good day. Thank you all for participating in it. And I know that Deputy Mayor, you'll be wearing your poppy all the way to Florida, won't you? Attaboy. Good for you. All right, that's really all I have to say at this time. I do look forward to our budget sessions, Council, that are coming up, and absolutely look forward to hearing from all of the staff who are going to make their presentations. Council can make their recommendations, etc. And we hope to have this wrapped up sometime in December. So thank you all. Council, we're going to move on to in our agenda, and we will go directly to our Public Works Department. And we have the site alteration and movement of fill bylaw. There's several appendix attached to this. I will read the motion and look for a mover and seconder, and then we can have a brief discussion from our staff. Be it resolved, the Council of the Township of Clearview hereby receive report PW 021-2025 site alteration and movement of fill bylaw dated November the 10th, 2025. And item 1, the council adopt the guidelines manual for site alteration and movement of fill as presented in Appendix B of this report. Item 2, that the site alteration and movement of fill bylaw be presented to council at the November 24th, 2025 meeting for final approval. And item number 3, that staff be directed to bring an amendment to the fees and charges bylaw 2501 to encompass the new fees as outlined in Appendix C for site alteration and movement of fill. Looking for a mover and seconder to get it on the floor. Mr. Broderick. Councillor Deneen, thank you very much. Mr. Perot, would you like to start by talking about this, or do you want to go directly to your staff who have been working on this?
Thank you, Your Worship. And yes, I will go directly to Ms. Patty Kennedy. She has worked diligently on this along with our development technologist as well. So they've got firsthand knowledge and in-depth knowledge of the bylaw and the guideline.
For sure.
So I'll pass it on to Patty.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Perot. Hello there, Ms. Kennedy. Good to have you here.
Thank you.
Thank you for all the work you've done on this. As I commented to you when I saw you in person the other day, I was very impressed that you were working on this and the engineering standards at the same time. And so good for you.
Thank you.
Carry on.
Thank you, through your worship. Good evening. Engineering staffs work closely with Burnside, the Clerk's Department, and Barriston Law over the past year to draft this bylaw and supporting documentation. That's presented with this report. An update to the municipality's fill bylaw was required to bring it in line with both municipal act as well as provincial regulations and ensure that we have an enforceable and defendable bylaw in court if we should need it. And I'm here to answer any questions you may have.
All right. Thank you very much. Members of council, do you have any questions to Ms. Kennedy or Mr. Perot? Not seeing any. All right. I have a question. Ms. Kennedy, Patty, can you please help me understand why, as the individual who came forward and asked the question, Matt's question about being such a long time for him to receive even indication that he's applied for something. Can you help me understand what's going on here as to why that's taking so long?
Yes, your worship. So my understanding is an application came in. With that application, we told him that he needed to prepare and provide the required documentation. There was some back and forth between the applicant and staff with regards to documents that he requested regarding other properties in his area. The original concern from this resident, I believe, was with drainage in front of his property. With regards to the back and forth over the months. I don't have in front of me exactly the timeline for that, but I can agree with him that we did take longer than probably necessary. Unfortunately, during that time, staff was busy with a number of other items that we were dealing with here. And we have since reached back out to him and provided him with the information that he needs to provide back to us, the clarification as to why he needs to provide that information. And we're happy to move forward and help him get his permit.
Okay. So, Ms. Kennedy, you would agree then that my recommendation to him was to reach out to staff and continue to work with staff to find a resolution to this is probably still the best course of action in order to get to the point where a permit can be issued if all the information has been submitted. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, that's correct, Your Worship.
Okay. Now, if I can, let's talk about general things, if I can. The whole idea of managing this infill is to, to make us as the people that are looking after the township interests to make sure that we are not being considered, frankly, a dumping ground. And so that we can have a little bit of control and understanding as to what the materials are, where they're coming from, what type of testing has gone on these materials, whether they would be considered underneath the environmental laws as contaminated soils or not. We frankly need to know what this material is as it's coming into our township. And so this is sort of the fundamental why we have this bylaw. If we did not have these bylaws, this would kind of be Wild West, wouldn't it? Where they could just show up at any time and start dumping and it would create a havoc. So just help me and council understand, what you feel is the real objectives of this amended bylaw and this replacement bylaw versus the existing bylaw we have.
Sure, Your Worship, thank you. So to go back to the existing bylaw that we have, it's 23 years old. It's not in line with the municipal act as it is today, the act. It doesn't make any reference to excess fill and OREG 40619 and other regulations that the provincial government has brought into effect recently. So that was one of the major points to update this bylaw. The other thing with this bylaw, to give some context to it, we've used our expert from Burnside, who has created bylaws for other municipalities moving forward with OREG 40619 at excess fill, movement of excess fill. So we have a bylaw now in front of you that is comparable to other municipalities in the region and other municipalities that have found themselves as dumping grounds. Now that the areas in the GTAs have updated their bylaws and updated their requirements, you see Phil is moving further north. And this year alone, we've had 4 properties where we've had to go in and issue stop work orders because they've been importing fill without a permit and without covering the regulations that are required by the province. So that's the main reason why we've brought this forward and updated it. Hopefully that answers your question.
Yes, it does. It gives me a little confidence as to why. I think part of that's in your report, in your preamble at the beginning. So just wanted you to say it out loud. So thank you for that. And if I can we just clarify? We have a lot of great open agricultural lands. This bylaw is not about those that own those open lands, about moving fill on their own properties. Is that right? Like somebody wants to move some hill, maybe knock the top off a hill and fill in other areas of their land to make the field more level. This bylaw does not come into play here, does it?
That's correct, Your Worship. There is a section of the bylaw that clearly outlines exemptions, and agricultural uses is one of those exemptions.
And of course, we also have to work within the regulations of the NVCA, which are very much concerned about drainage and water courses and natural habitat, et cetera. So that's why we're working within the current regulations of the NVCA rather than Not really sure where the regulations are going to go if they do move ahead with this project to change the number of conservation authorities, but we of course what we expect applicants and property owners that are looking to do any type of infilling that they have met the requirements of the NVCA. Is that correct?
Yes, your worship, it is, yes.
Okay. Well, I think that's good. Yes, Mr. Dan, Mr. Pro, go ahead.
Thank you, Worship. I thought it might be just prudent to point out that the comment from the public was that this bylaw is 100 and some odd pages long, but in all reality, the majority of that is the guideline. So there's two pieces to this. We have the bylaw and then we have a guideline. So the guideline is more of a policy type document to show, sort of, I'll say step by step on how to achieve the requirements needed for the bylaw. The bylaw is really the teeth, and it's about 25 pages long or so. But that's the teeth. So just making sure everybody understands that the bylaw is not that long. It's the guide to help people process through to get to the permit process,
Right.
For permit stage.
I can appreciate that a document that's quite thick is part of the municipal process is to have a document that outlines every reference that you have to do to make it a legal document. So I can appreciate that. I hope that the public can appreciate that if they have any concerns with it, just need to ask the staff and they can help them interpret it. It's I guess as a municipal leader and you're being involved in this now for a while, you see these very long, lengthy documents, you know quickly how to read them. So it's an education thing too. So if I may, I know, Patty, you want to go to something. I was thinking of the CAO. If you have any comments, Mr. CAO, about the whole idea of reducing red tape and some of the activities that we're doing to help do that by taking a look at these older bylaws and renewing them, while keeping in mind we want to make it as simple and clear to do that. I mean, I know I was thinking of Derek's work with the zoning bylaws, the same kind of thing. The document might get bigger, but the process will actually be smoother. Did you agree?
I do agree in a lot of cases that these documents are updated based on new legislation. And so whenever new legislation comes in, there's usually new criterias, but we try to make it as painless as possible for the individuals. I think in this instance, the gentleman had been caught up between two bylaws, even though the original bylaw still had some relevance. It was not really up to speed with the provincial legislation.
Fair enough. Thank you very much. Patty, did you want to conclude there?
Thank you, your worship. I just, to Dan's point, wanted to just clarify for everybody. The bylaw itself is 26 pages. The guidelines are so large because it's a guideline to help them understand the bylaw. It includes an appendix for a template for the fill management plan that is a requirement under the new bylaw. And it also includes the 3 permit applications.
For the large, medium, or small, whichever one they're applying for. That's why there would be 3 different categories. Yeah,
So minor, small, and large permits, yes.
right. Okay. Now, with that conversation, looking back to council, anybody else have any questions? You comfortable? All right. Thank you very much, staff. Appreciate that. Members of council, we have a motion in front of us with a mover and seconder. I am prepared to call the motion. All those in favor? That carries unanimous. Thank you very much. Look forward to seeing it on the 24th is when we'll have it back. And that's great. Okay, moving on. Purchase of the wheeled excavator. Now, before I read it, I just want to state that Todd, I was really excited to hear this when we had our budget discussions, and I honestly thought we'd be getting it around, March or May, maybe even June. So it's November. All right, we're getting it. It's still 2025 and it's in the budget. So, I just wanted to state that for you. I'm happy to see it's finally here. Members of council, I'll read the resolution and I'll look for a mover and seconder. Be it resolved that council of the Township of Clearview hereby receive report PW 022-2025 is the purchase of the wheeled excavator dated November 10, 2025. And item 1, that council approve the purchase of an M320 wheeled excavator from Tormont Cat in the amount of $481,000 plus HST. Mover and seconder. The Deputy Mayor and Councillor Deneen, thank you very much. Todd, tell me what this thing's going to do for us.
Thank you, Your Worship. Yeah, we're excited to finally make the purchase on this, hopefully. It gets through. We're hoping to put it to good use for some roadside brushing with a mulcher head, do our own ditching as we currently do now with the old grade all. You know, one of the things with the old grade all, we could not retrofit it with a mulcher head. It's too old for that. Just new gradles can come with that. So once we looked at the options, we come down, narrow it down to the wheeled excavator. Talking to different municipalities, people who have had them in the past, going and seeing them ourselves. We're excited to get it on site and let our operators go. I think they're excited to get in it too and spend some time out in the field and start cleaning some of these roadsides up and doing it ourselves.
Thank you very much. Members of council, do you have any questions? Paul, go ahead.
Todd, do you think it'd be okay if some of us came out and played with it someday?
Fine by me. You might have to get it by Joel. We'll see how it goes.
Okay. Duly
How does he
necessary.
take his coffee?
Duly excavators. I make another suggestion maybe then, Todd, if you won't let us play with it, would you think about putting it in the Santa Claus Parade in Stainer and in Creemore if you have it in time for the parades?
We could definitely look at that. I know it won't be for this year. And talking to them, they don't have one quite ready yet.
Oh.
But maybe 2026 Santa Claus Parade, we could keep that in mind.
Okay, keep it in mind. It's nice to show some of that stuff off, and because it is a wheeled excavator, it would work well in the parade. So thank you.
Maybe we get it in the Sunnydale Winterama. Maybe it'll be time for that.
There you go.
Oh, that might be fun. That'd be great. Good. All right. Other members, any questions? Yes, Mr. Beeland.
Thank you, Your Worship. Todd, I don't think we've ever owned a mulching head before, have we? So I know it doesn't matter which one of these you buy, you're gonna have that, but there's gonna be maintenance costs to it because those teeth wear out now and again, right? I'm just wondering about how long those teeth last and where the money comes to repair this mulcher head.
Yeah, through Your Worship, Councilor Beelan. So the cost, there's about a little under 30 teeth on the mulcher head that we're looking at, be carbide tipped. They're about $150 a piece. The estimated lifespan, depending on how it's, where it is, how it's operated, if it gets into rock, it gets into other materials, we should get about 400 hours. So you're looking at about $3,500, $4,000 for all the teeth. You know, depending on how many hours we can get on this, whether that's annually or every 2 years we have to replace them all. I'm sure there'll be some that have to get replaced throughout the year just on wear and tear. So it'll come out of operating budgets for maintenance for the piece of equipment.
Perfect, thanks.
All right. Other members? Other members of council? Nothing further? I do have one observation. I saw one of these pieces of equipment being used in the town of Blue Mountains. What I noted was that they were using it in the winter months. They put frankly, just the excavator bucket on it, and they were using it to clear ditches that had started to ice up around culverts. And because it's a wheeled machine, they can get to areas quite easily. But I would caution that the operators in town of Blue Mountains told me that you don't want to drive it fast. Like it's not a pickup truck, right? You want to drive it, it's a piece of equipment. So you have to think that it's not driving down the road at 50 kilometers an hour. It's a slow piece of gear. Even though it has wheels on it, it's you know, doesn't have tracks, it's got wheels. So the point is that it's a very useful tool and can get you in the right places and get you out of the right places too. But you want to make sure that you operate it and we use it effectively and safely too to protect the operators. So, but yes, I thought that was a brilliant piece that they were using it for, was to cleaning out ditches. You know, ice damming that happens in a culvert, these type of thing. Whereas certainly I can remember seeing some of our public works staff climbing down into water, rushing, using shovels to clean things out. And it's just glad they got out again, you know, could have been messy. So glad that we have a piece of equipment like that to help clear that type of ice situation. All right. Thank you, Todd. Thank you, staff, for your input on that. Members of council, if there's nothing further, We have a motion in front of us. I'm prepared to call the motion. All those in favor? That carries unanimous. Okay. The budget keeps moving on. Well done. All right, council, in front of us now is an administration report from the HR. It's HR 003-2025, the non-union staff compensation pay equity review. There's been 2 conflict of interest indicated for this session. So Councillor Deneen, I acknowledge that you're stepping back from the table. All right, thank you very much, Councillor Deneen, who declared her conflict. Council, I'll read this first one. I'll look for a mover and seconder, and then perhaps we'll go to Tammy, who is our HR manager, who can give us an update on this. First recommendation from HR 003-2025. Be it resolved, Council of the Township of Clearview hereby receive report HR 003-2025, the non-union staff compensation and pay equity review dated November 10, 2025. And item 1, the council directs staff to implement the following: that the non-union salary structure and employee pay adjustments maintain the 60th percentile of market rates. Item B, that the CAO implement the recommendations for 2025 non-union salary grid for all departments, with the exception of the fire and emergency services, effective January 1st, 2026, at a cost of $200,663 for 2026. And item number C, that staff follow the recommendations of Marianne Love Consulting, including conducting the non-union compensation and pay equity review before the end of 2029. I'll look for a mover and seconder. Mr. Walker. Mr. Broderick, thank you very much. Madam Clerk, you mentioned to me at the beginning of the meeting that Marianne Love was online. I'm not sure if she's still here or not. She is. Okay, so just for review for council, our consultant, Marianne Love, who has worked for this township for many years doing this very work, is available for any questions. There she is. Hi there. Nice to see you. Thanks for sitting in with us all night here.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
Glad to have you with us. And also our HR representative, Tammy Gill, is available. Let's start with Tammy. Tammy, is there anything you want to add to this report underneath recommendation number 1?
Thank you, Your Worship. There's not a lot more to add. I think Marianne Love has done some great work for us once again as an independent consultant to review our compensation for non-union staff, as well as ensure that we are compliant with the pay equity legislation.
All right, thank you very much. And Marianne, did you have anything you want to add to the report? I know that you reviewed it before Tammy submitted it. Marianne?
I did, Your Worship. I did review it. I have nothing further to add.
All right, thank you for being there. Members of council, do you have any questions to the staff on this report? I'm impressed. Well done. All right, there are no questions. I will submit only one question, and that is perhaps to Marianne, who has a great deal of experience across the entire province dealing with compensation reviews. It has been the policy of the Township of Clearview to do this every 2 or 4 years as a review. Some municipalities that are perhaps larger do it every year. And so I'm just wondering if do you feel that there's a lot of changes in a smaller municipality like ours when you compare it to the other comparators? And should we be considering, like right now, our recommendation is to do this by the end of 2029, which is still a few years out. Is this something that should be done every year, or is this too onerous of a task given the, the small, number of employees that we deal with here to do this review? Marianne?
Thank you for the question, Your Worship. Yes, I think every year is not frankly necessary. I think, amongst the many municipalities that I do similar work for, the span of the cycle for review goes anywhere from 2 to 4 years. And the predominance is sort of 2 to 3 years. So I think the way the motion has been worded, it gives the flexibility to Clearview. And I think you would be looking to HR and the CAO to keep their eye on it. And I work with them regularly on new and changed jobs. And if things were evolving such that it needed to be done sooner rather than later, I think the motion allows for that to happen in terms of the way it's currently worded.
Okay. I was just interested because I know some larger municipalities some of them do this in-house, given, no, just if Tammy could just close her ears for a minute, they have lots of employees in the HR department. Tammy Gill does not have lots of employees in her department, but I know large municipalities who have multiple HR staff members that have different skill sets. They do the internal compensation reviews by looking at their comparators themselves, and they basically do it every year, sort of as a job function. So I would suggest we are not in that position, given that we're a small, a relatively small employer when it comes to municipalities across Ontario. So I appreciate your input because I know you work with some very large and some, frankly, much smaller than us. Is that correct?
It's very true. Yeah, it's true. And I think it's all dependent on the size and the scope of the municipality and what its immediate, you know, challenges and opportunities are. So as I said, I think the motion as it's worded provides some flexibility so that the municipality, the township can do what it needs to do when it needs to do it.
All right. Thank you very much, Marianne, and thank you, Tammy. Is nothing further you want to add, or you're comfortable? Members of council, one more time, any further questions? Seeing none. Thank you. Please stand by. We do have another resolution. Council, we have resolution number 1 on the table in front of us with a mover and seconder. I am prepared to call the motion. Those in favor? That carries. Thank you very much. At this time, Madam Clerk, please record that I've passed the chair over to the Deputy Mayor, and I will withdraw from the table. Also, please acknowledge that Councillor Deneen has returned to the table. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Worship. And Madam Clerk, I'll be taking on recommendation number 2. Be it resolved that the Council of the Township of Clearview hereby receive report HR-003 2025 non-union staff compensation and pay equity review dated November 10th, 2025, and that the Council direct the CAO to implement the recommendation 2025 non-union salary of fire emergency services effective January 1st, 2026 at a cost of $10,021 for 2026. Could I have a mover, please? Councillor Bleeland and Councillor, and a seconder, Councillor Walker. Everybody's heard the motion. Is there any questions or comments? And once again, I recognize that the mayor measures has declared a conflict that is not part of this conversation or vote. Any other comments? At this time, I'd like to call the motion. All in favor? And that's carried unanimously. Your Worship, if you wish to return to the table, you can assume the helm again.
Okay. All right. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Thank you, members of council. Council, we're going to move on our agenda to bylaws. There are none for tonight, with the exception of the confirmatory bylaw. Prior to that, though, new business or any notice of the motion? Yes, Councillor Walker. What do you have for us?
Thank you, Your Worship. As a result of the council meeting last with regards to the motion regarding Grand Trunk and Highway 26, I was wondering if Dan had any update information with regards to Grand Trunk and Highway 26 lights adjacent to across from the our emergency hub.
Thank you very much. That's what I consider ongoing business, not just new business, but thank you. Mr. Perot, can you please answer the question from the councillor and inform council on what's been going on with this ongoing light issue on 26 at Grand Trunk?
I certainly can, Your Worship, and happy to share that the township, the developer of the commercial property and their engineers and staff from the MTO met a couple of weeks ago now, and everybody was under the agreement to have the lights installed at this intersection sooner rather than later. Seeing as the time of the year, it would be difficult to do it this year, but however, because of the winter season, MTO requires all construction to be off the road by November 15th. And that as early as possible in the springtime, the developer would be able to get back onto the road to make the requirements, to make the application during this winter to have the construction begin as early as possible in the springtime, as soon as after the winter weather is out of the way. That could happen anytime between March and May, end of May-ish. However, that will give the developer and their engineers time to submit a design, a proper design for the signalization of the intersection to the MTO, order the parts and components for the signals operation to happen over the winter, and be ready for early to late spring and possibly into early summer. So there is a commitment there to get this work underway, started, and implemented early in 2026.
Councillor Walker?
Just to follow up to Dan, is there then a follow-up process with regards to making sure that the developer does go forward with his permit application and gets things ready so that in the springtime they are prepared to get started? Like, I just don't want to see it fall by the wayside and apply come April, which then puts it on till maybe the fall. So I just want to, so is there follow-up so we know that he is doing what he has to do in order for the permit to be applied for?
Dan?
Yeah, thank you, Your Worship, through you, Councillor Walker. Yeah, absolutely. Staff will continue to push that with reminders and possibly future meetings. There is some road work that needs to be done on Grand Trunk Road as well. So that will have to come back to municipal staff for a bit of review. It's not a lot of road work. It's some moving of some curb and things like that. But we'll certainly keep on top of them, keep following up with the developer.
All right. Thank you very much. Dan, on the same line of questioning, have you had any contact, or has your engineering team had any contact with the MTO about the inquiry about changing the speed on Highway 26 from County Road 7 to the city limit of Stayner?
Thank you, Your Worship. Certainly have. We had that discussion at the same meeting with the MTO staff. I was on holidays last week, but prior to that, I obtained some information from the fire department that's going to play a critical role in formulating a request to the MTO for that speed reduction. They were aware of some communication that you had with the minister as well. So now that I'm back this week, I'll formulate that request to the MTO with the information I received from them. And in thinking of that location, I think my request is going to extend further east, especially east of Centerline Road intersection. So we know that there's some issues there at Centerline Road and County Road and Highway 26 as well. So the request is going to go, some meters beyond east of Centerline Road as well. So that's we're going to formulate a request. That was the advice that I was given by the MTO staff members, was to put a request together, and they'll start their review of that. And the collision data is critical in that request.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much. Perhaps if I may ask, can you please copy me on those type of communications, Mr. Perot, as I also have communications with directly through the minister, which I've been blessed to have a couple of phone calls with him, which is really nice. It's nice to have a call from the minister. Particularly when he's not giving me any heck or anything, so that's good. But nevertheless, if we can just stay so we understand what we're asking for, that little bit of information about further east on 26 was new just now to me. So I certainly want to make sure that we're both speaking of the same request. So, all right, let's stay in tune. Fair enough?
Yeah, certainly will.
All right. Thank you very much. Okay. Well, I have not heard anything further either since my inquiries. I have had a couple of email exchanges, or sorry, text message exchanges with MPP Saunderson. So I'm hopeful that I'll be seeing him Perhaps even tomorrow, being Remembrance Day, he might be around. So maybe I'll happen to cross paths with him. Nevertheless, thank you very much, Councillor Walker, for bringing that up underneath old business. Council, at this time, we're going to move to our, unless there's anything further? No? Okay, going to go to confirmatory bylaw. Be it resolved, bylaw number 2562, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the November 10, 2025 council meeting be presented as read a first, second, and third time finally passed on the 10th day of November 2025. Can I have that moved by Councillor Deneen, seconded by Councillor Walker? And there's nothing further on the confirmatory. All those in favor? That carries. Council, the old adjournment. What are we at? 7:26. Be it resolved, council meeting adjourned, 7:26. Councillor Beelan. Councillor Beelan? Deputy Mayor. Thank you. All those in favor? Thank you. Please attend a Remembrance Day ceremony near you, lest we forget.